Hi! Hello everyone and welcome back to this week's episode. I'm your host Shannon as always, and today I have a very special guest with me. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Jay and I'm currently Shannon's husband.
Currently?
Currently. Maybe in the future, no. And I'll also introduce myself a little bit more. So I'm a Korean, Canadian, African hybrid. I grew up across the African continent. I did my university in Canada, and I sound American because I went to all American schools. So I'm a bit of a American raised, culturally Americanized
Korean
person.
boy, yes.
And I can't speak Korean as well. 한국어도 어느 정도 할 수 있고요. 조금 어색하긴 하지만 그래도 할 수 있습니다.
All right, so as we have our Korean representative today, we are going to be talking a little bit about men's skincare, which at least in Korea has become increasingly popular along with men's cosmetics in general, including makeup, hair care, things like that. How would you say, like, with your experience living across so many different continents, how would you say Korean men's beauty and skincare differs from that of other Western cultures?
I think I can speak for a lot of the guys around me at least. We don't know anything about skincare, period. Mm-hmm. Meaning, the most we've ever done is maybe some sunscreen, maybe some cleanser. I don't personally.
Yeah, I make you put it on before we leave the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, none of my friends put on makeup, meaning that the difference between Koreans and Western, I guess, people is that they're a lot more in tune with taking care of their skin, mm-hmm. and therefore even the products would be different, I think.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think like whenever you go into the store, there's always like just so much, an expansive amount of products for women that are available, from face wash, toner, serum, moisturizer, all of that. And then you get to the end and there's a little tiny men's section. And it's basically the exact same thing, but it's just rebranded in a more masculine way. At least that's my experience growing up in the States, of course. But in Korea, there's actually an entire aisle for men's skincare and beauty brands now, which I find really interesting. So did you ever do any sort of like face wash or moisturizer, things like that regularly, or did that start when you came to Korea?
To be perfectly honest, that started when we started dating.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
So just to preface, prior to meeting Shannon and actually learning anything about to do with skin, I would just wash my face, no soap, no cleanser, no nothing, and dab it with a towel and just go to bed. And that was rinse and repeat. But ever since I met you, I do now cleanse my face. I moisturize after. Don't know what moisturizer I'm putting on, to be very honest.
We'll talk a little bit about it, yeah, for sure. So I can say that like I started introducing skincare with Jay because of course I work at a skincare clinic part-time, so I take skincare very seriously. But it's that combined with the Korean sort of emphasis on natural beauty from like the skin outward. So everything starts with the skin here. Like the basis to good makeup is a good skincare routine, and then like a standard of beauty is to be considered of having good skin. And you've always, since I've known you at least, you've always had like good skin. It's not like you have crazy breakouts or anything like that. But you are a little bit more acne prone than me, which is kind of where I started just subtly giving you some tips about maybe some things that we could do. So that's when we kind of started jumping into a skincare routine. So a lot of what you're gonna see today is partially some of my influence, mostly my influence. But it's also things that we've done a little bit of trial and error with, because when it comes to skincare, at least from my perspective, I usually do an analysis on people when they're coming into the shop that I work for. So I'm able to understand their skin type a little bit better, but with him, I couldn't do that. So it was more about kind of trial and error. But when it came to the cleansers, when I first met him, he was using like an acne cleanser. And the problem with that is it usually has really strong acid bases in it, things like salicylic acid, for example. So one of the ones that I've been having him use that I feel like has been a good fit for both of us is the Round Labs brand. So this is one of my all-time favorites. This is globally probably one of the more popular options as well. The Round Labs cleanser that this one is, I believe it's Birch Juice Moisturizing Foaming Cleanser. This is one of my all-time favorites. It's a lot less acidic and a lot less drying. Like a good rule of thumb when you're washing your face is you shouldn't feel super tight after. This kind of indicates dryness. This one actually has a base of hyaluronic acid in it, which is known to be a hydrating component for the skin. So I figured from the point of cleansing, we could at least start with something hydrating since your skin was kind of like crocodile skin before. So we started with that. He did already wash his face today, so I'm not going to be demonstrating that for you guys. But we will move on to the toner pads. And I think these are easily one of my favorite products, but also it's one of Jay's that I use like maybe once or twice a week on you.
Yeah.
I have to mention to this as well, but I typically do his skincare for him a lot. But
because I'm lazy.
But in the morning, when I hear you doing your moisturizer yourself, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I try.
So which of the products, at least since you've started to learn a little bit more about skincare, do you feel like you can't live without now? Tentatively. I feel like you could do with just water, but...
To be very honest, I think this product in general is the best for me because I think my skin is combination, so it's very dry and oily at the same time. But basically, ever since I started using this, I noticed it being less dry, which I think is really great. But I also realized that the sort of sebum developments,
You got it.
sebum?
No, you're right. You got it.
Developments under the pores have diminished ever since I started hydrating. So if you have like a lot of blackheads or you're really acne prone, then I think you might be dry. So I would recommend using moisturizer, at least.
You did so good.
Yeah.
That was such a good explanation. I'm so proud of you. So basically, I'm gonna kind of reiterate what he just said in a little bit more of a kind of digestible way, I guess, understandable way. Basically what happens is everybody has pores in their skin, and those pores open up as a response to dehydration. When the internal moisture of your skin is low, your body tells your pore to make oil. So by hydrating your skin more, your oil production will decrease. This is going to help with some of those larger pores and oils. So the product he was referring to is actually the Numbuzin. This, guys, I cannot even stress enough. Numbuzin is one of my all-time favorite brands that I've discovered in Korea for a number of reasons. But specifically for this product, the reason that I got this for him and we started trying that one is because of the ingredients on the back. I don't know how well you guys can actually see that. But it's panthenol, which is a very soothing and calming ingredient because he's a little bit sensitive. Niacinamide, which is for textural improvement. And it's a lightweight gel because he is a little bit more combination. So the last thing I want to do for him is put like a heavy cream on. So this would be one of my top products for you. And we've gone through 2 tubs of this now. This is the third. I actually just rebought this for this episode. So we're getting some questions in the chat. I don't want to neglect you guys. Somebody was asking about when we got married. When did we get married?
We got married on March 13th, which is coincidentally Shannon's mother's birthday.
February 13th. February 13th. March 13th is my birthday.
Sorry.
He knows this.
Yes.
he's
Don't fire me, please.
A little bit nervous about today. But yes, we did get married relatively soon, kind of after we started dating, about a year, I would say. But we only did like the legal marriage part.
Yeah.
We haven't done the actual wedding yet, which is why if some of you guys follow me on Instagram, you haven't seen anything about that because it hasn't happened yet. But it was a pretty easy decision, I think, for both of us. He's my best friend.
And she's my best friend.
Yeah, so here we are. We'll kind of skip over the romance part. We have an objective for today. Let's answer some more of these questions. Let's see. Dove soap is as far as I go. Haha. Let's see. Mask packs make you moisturize. Yeah. How many times do you think I've used a mask on you?
Once a week since we started dating.
Yeah.
So that's quite a lot. Yeah, we've been dating for like a year and a half.
For mask packs, you guys, a lot of questions that I get at the clinic at least is like, where in your skincare routine should you be using that? And that would be at a serum point. So cleanser, toner, and then mask would be kind of your go-to routine. What's good for acne? What's good for acne, Jay?
Asking the wrong person, but I think for acne, first and foremost, it's cleansing your face quite thoroughly. So for me, I found the most success with hyaluronic acid
You're doing so well.
based wash.
You got it. You did so good. You got it.
Yeah.
Also, this one right here. So like I said, this is one of my favorites. I don't know if I've actually gone into depth with you about why I use this one for you. But this is, as you guys can see right here, AHA, which is a chemical exfoliator. So chemical exfoliators are, especially AHA, you can think of AHA as the A stands for above. This is going to cleanse the surface of the skin by breaking down dead skin cells, sunscreen, products build up throughout the day. It comes with this little clip here. I'm going to put these on you, so you guys can see in real time what we do at the house. Okay.
I'm just gonna.
Usually you're like laying on the couch and I'm just like touching your face without your permission.
It's very invasive, trust me.
You're supposed to do this with the pad, but you're kind of far away from me right now. So we put the toner.
I'm supposed to keep this up.
So you can try to keep them there if you can. We put the toner pads on. You leave them on for maybe like 2 to 3 minutes or so. This is going to allow them, especially in areas where there's a lot of oil production, to kind of absorb and soak up. There is a textured side of the pad and there's a soft side. So I put the soft side down for absorption and then I'll use the textured side to kind of scrub. So you can sit there and
you can actually move around. You can live life.
Wait a minute. Let's see. Do I have to wash my face twice? No, you don't have to wash your face twice, but I will say this does entirely depend on your skin type. So for example, I have a very dry skin type. So dry skin is going to require less cleansing. And I say that lightly. So for reference, I do wear makeup typically. In the morning, I would just use warm water, and then at night, I cleanse really well. If you have an oily skin type, it's better to cleanse twice a day, so morning and night. So it does kind of depend. But let's say that you're sensitive combination acne, which is probably the most difficult type to work with. I would start by cleansing twice a day using something light like this. You don't want to get a super thick, creamy, acid-based wash. Wash really lightly and then use very gentle, soothing products. As your skin starts to get used to that extra moisture, then you can bump it down to once a day. Let's see, dark circles are really bad. Can I exfoliate often? Exfoliate, I would say twice a week at most. You really don't need to exfoliate more than that. So I don't think I do these pads for you more than that, right?
No.
No, I don't think so. We have that scrub in the shower. But you only use
that. I maybe use that once every 3 months.
You only use that if I remind you for some reason. But yes. So anyway, I do have a scrub in the shower, but scrubs are more so for kind of like sunscreen buildup, makeup buildup. If you notice that you have a lot of black pores, they can be good for acne, but it's important not to overstrip your skin. So we're just gonna wipe this around. Can you fan your face after this?
Yes.
So I can't reach it. Can you come
Sorry.
here a little bit? I can't reach the other side. So we just kind of lightly scrub. The purpose of this one is not to like really rub hard on the face. I just want to lightly kind of apply the product, make sure I'm getting the hot spots, and done. All right. So for reference, he's already cleansed his face, but there is a little bit of gunk right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. So even washing doesn't completely cleanse your skin, so it's really important to kind of make sure that you're doing the appropriate steps. All right, let's see. I need to cleanse even if it's annoying. There are many men with sensitive skin. If your skin gets better, you'll gain confidence. Anyone else who has used sunsticks. We'll talk a little bit about sunscreen and stuff after we get to the end. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions now about men's skin kind of issues in general that I actually don't know a lot about, so I'll need your help with that. Okay. When it comes to shaving, how do you get breakouts? Do you get redness? And how do you deal with that?
Okay, so first and foremost, I got my beard line and hair in general on my face lasered off, primarily because I had 2 major issues. Number one, I was shaving almost every day. And what often happened was that the ingrown hair started like trying to poke out of my skin, and obviously it caused a lot of redness, a lot of like pimples, general irritation, and I wasn't really a fan of that, especially on my neck area. So I did myself a huge favor and I got a laser appointment. But generally, because of all the constant shaving and like the razor bumps and stuff, like you do get a lot of irritation, and irritation will lead to, you know, your skin layers like sort of breaking down. Yeah, so it's just not a good experience overall.
So after the laser, what are you doing now? Because I know that, like you said, that the hair was starting to come back a little bit since the laser, and this is normal. Even if you do get laser hair removal, it's often that it does come back. So now when you're shaving, because you do shave like what, every 2 to 3 days?
Every 3-4 days, maybe.
Something like that. Yeah. But you're using that thing in the shower. What's it? The Bulldog?
Oh, the shaving gel.
Okay, so why do you use that?
I use the shaving gel because I feel like the foam sort of leaves a lot of gunk in my skin. I don't know why. It's just a placebo thing maybe, but I feel like the gel's better than the foam. That's why I use the gel, and it just feels a lot cleaner as well.
Are you washing your face before you shave, or do you wash your face after?
I try to wash my face before so that it's cleaner before I cut myself, basically.
You're right.
So yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
So it'll be shaving gel, then maybe aftershave, but I generally don't cut myself like while shaving anymore, like not even like micro nicks because I don't get a lot of hair. So I think that's really helped my skin out a lot, actually.
Okay, so we're gonna keep it moving. We're running down on time here, so I'm gonna introduce this last product here, and then we're going to, while I do your skincare, I actually have a couple more questions for you. So this is the Skin 1004 Hyaluronic Serum, another one of my favorites. I've actually been using this one pretty regularly now. This is by the brand Skin Tonsa or Skin 1004. You guys might know this is like the Centella brand. That's kind of the most popularized item, but this one I think is a lot lighter. I love the Centella ampule. It's great. It's like gold in a bottle, but this one is a little bit more hydrating and soothing, I would say, which is actually why I use it for Jay. So Centella and Cica in general are very good for inflammation, redness, irritation, but it does carry very well with hyaluronic acid based products. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of this on my hands and then I'm gonna put it on Jay's face. And I have a question. Why do you think that men's skincare has not been as popular in the past as it is for women?
To be honest, I think it's because of marketing. And also like sort of the stigma around men taking care of themselves at the very least, like superficially. So for men, other than taking care of your body and trying to look more masculine or whatever, the fact that you're applying like lotion and stuff, which conventionally is for women.
But why is it conventionally for women?
They consider it that because you're sort of dolling yourself up, if you will, right?
I guess.
So there's a lot of stigma around that. Like, oh, what are you trying to do by, trying to look more pretty, or why are you taking care of yourself like that? So I think they can consider that as like an emasculating thing, and they want to be, macho alpha,
Do you think that more people are gonna, or more men, I should say, are gonna start to gravitate towards skincare?
I think it already is. I was actually reading somewhere that the men's skincare economy is booming. So they're expecting a CAGR growth of 5.7% by 2030, meaning that the men's skincare line is growing, the industry is growing. And I think that, especially in Korea, like there's been an uptick of like 230% when it comes to men's overall skincare lines in general. So yeah, like more men are taking care of their skin.
So does that mean that I can trust you to start using more products without my help? Okay.
You're never gonna find me doing that.
Okay. Can you at least do this one for me?
Yes.
Because I hear you doing this one all the time at the house, so I'm gonna need you to demonstrate your extensive skin knowledge with the moisturizer.
Right.
You can just take it from there.
Yeah.
You don't have to like dip your hands in right now. So I guess that's kind of a little bit more about like why I wanted to bring you on for skincare discussion, because obviously I work at the skincare clinic, and I would say from the time that I've started until now, I'm noticing a huge uptake in the amount of men that are coming in, and usually it's like men being dragged in by their wives or their girlfriends or whatever. But now it's like they're coming on their own, and they're like, you know what? Like I'm in my 30s. I've never taken care of my skin. I really want to have that really nice, pretty skin that makes you look more youthful. So I feel like it's almost for men, instead of being pretty, it's more like for youthful purposes. Like they want to stay looking young, which everybody does. So yeah, I would say that that's probably why. So I know we're not necessarily to that conversation yet, because I will be having another episode with Jay on in the future. So maybe you guys can stay tuned for that. But also men's makeup. Have you had any experience with that?
Well, I did, but like, okay, I'll explain in a second. It's really hard to talk and do this at the same time.
Multitasking.
So basically, I used to be a commercial model. I know I don't look like a commercial model now, but that's because I have gained considerable weight while trying to look more masculine. But I did have a lot of experience as a commercial model in the past, and I was on camera at least 4 days out of the week. So I would say that.
Gel on your
yeah,
nose.
sorry.
No, you're good.
So yeah, I do have some makeup experience, but I've never applied it myself. I would say the makeup stylists would obviously dab it on me.
Did they ever do your skincare before makeup?
Never.
Really?
Never.
Really?
So
okay.
I think I've never experienced a commercial or shoot where they took care of my skin first before applying makeup. They just sort of cake mixed.
Sure.
So they're less attentive about skin, let's just put it that way.
How do you feel about your skin now that you've started doing at least moisturizer and cleansing regularly?
I think I'm not about to reveal my age, but a lot of people have stated that I look a lot younger than I actually am, which is actually wonderful, and I attribute that to skincare. So,
really?
Kinda, yeah.
All right, I'll take that as a win. Nice.
Thank you.
So we're getting a couple more questions in the chat. I just want to make sure that we're looking at it. Can I take care of the under eye area as well? Yes, actually, you can to an extent. So with the under eyes, it really does depend a lot on genetics. But also you have to keep in mind that this skin underneath the eyes is extremely thin. So much like other areas with really thin skin, you can actually see the blood vessels, and a lot of times that blue hue kind of presents itself as a shadow. So take it with a grain of salt, but I would say as far as like anti-aging, some of the things you could do would be incorporating vitamin C, collagen compounds, peptides, or PDRN is really popular. Retinols are fantastic for that. And that's a lot of what you'll start to see, especially if you Google Korean skincare. You'll start to see a lot of those keywords that I just mentioned kind of come through. You've heard me talk about it. I don't know how much of it you've absorbed, but I do talk about that stuff quite a lot. I actually do use retinol, but I have a very dry skin type, so it's very rare, like once a week perhaps. What would be a good skincare introduction? All right, I guess I'll throw that one to you. What would be a good skincare introduction?
Cleanse your face, 100%. Cleanse your face and moisturize. I would say choosing the right cleanser for your skin type, I think is really important, because if you have an oilier skin type, then you need a water-based cleanser. No, sorry, oil-based cleanser.
There you go. I was about to be like, I've taught you nothing.
And then if you have drier skin, it should be hyaluronic. If you have oilier skin, it should be salicylic. Yes?
Potentially. It's a good start. But yes, I would say honestly, even before you start getting into the products, look up what the active ingredients are. Because that will make or break how the product affects your skin. Whether or not it's an oil cleanser or a foaming cleanser or an oil, whatever, if it's got ingredients that your skin doesn't like or that you don't need, it's likely that you'll have some sort of sensitivity to it, cause breakouts, potential stuff like that. So really get into it. Actually, like go onto the Olive Young Global website or go onto Ulta or Sephora or whatever's available to you, and just kind of look around at some of the cleansers, see what some of those top ingredients are. Maybe look up what they do and then kind of go from there. That would be the best thing to do. You can maybe even clip this episode and try to figure out what certain products do. Let's see. Stress, late night snacks equals skin explosion. Yeah, so there's not really a way out of that one, guys. That would be considered hormonal acne or any sort of like oil-based. I think a lot of people get breakouts with milk-based products or dairy-based products, also really, really fried or really sugary. So that one comes a little bit more from hormone balance. I would say if you do go out and eat really poorly, the next day maybe try to drink a little bit more water, green tea, things that'll help you detox before it can, start to come up like that. Please recommend a sun cream that you tone up your skin. Ooh. Do you remember the sunscreen that I make you wear?
I have absolutely no idea what the sunscreen is called. However, it is a green stick.
It's the one that I showed you guys on the makeup video. So I do put that one on him as well. I actually have it in my purse right behind camera. But yeah, so any sunscreen is fine. I think when you're looking for sunscreens, especially if you're going to be out and about or if you wear makeup, look for things that don't have a white cast or don't have a greasy, oily component. This is typically more chemical sunscreen versus mineral. But mostly look at the PA+ rating. I don't know if this is something that they have as readily available on Western sunscreens. But at least for the Korean sunscreens, it's all over the place. But the PA+ rating is how long it's going to last. You guys can look a little bit more into that. One of the ones that I really enjoy using is the Beauty of Joseon, the blue rice water-based one. A little bit more sensitivity friendly. Let's see. Whitening is important for men too. Okay, we've got maybe 2 more minutes, but I want to get your opinion on this. What do you think about the bright skin thing? The whitening, the brightening?
This one's a little bit difficult because I think personally, I love being tanned. I loved looking more natural and like sort of sun-kissed. So I'm not really sure about whitening per se. Maybe looking moisturized would be the better.
Some people do whitening for different reasons.
Yeah.
I would say like when it comes to like scarring and stuff, I would consider that brightening. But whitening is kind of a little bit more Southeast Asian, East Asian centralized. And I was wondering if you knew why that was. Like why is brighter skin kind of an emphasis in Korea for men?
So that's more of a cultural context thing. So basically they have this notion that if you were affluent in the past, you didn't have to work in the rice fields, you didn't have to work outside and be a commoner, right? So essentially, the whiter you were or the paler you were, the more aesthetically beautiful you were. And I think that's the whole thing about Southeast Asians and staying pale is that they want to be seen like they're from an affluent family. So that's the whole thing.
And I think it's also, somebody mentioned that UV rays are really scary, Larissa, I think. But yeah, UV rays are really scary. So I think now it's kind of become a status symbol, but it's also like Koreans put such an importance on internal health and how much you take care of yourself that part of that bleeds into sun protection. Obviously, if you're spending a lot of time outside, you'll get darker, but you're more exposed to sun damage. You'll get sunspots, wrinkles more quickly, things like that. So I'm going to answer one last question before we sign off for you guys. And then, of course, make sure you guys stay tuned for next week's episode. We will be having another special guest. Don't know who it's going to be. But we'll be having another special guest for an episode more about revolving around cosmetics. But the last question for today is, should I use it step by step instead of all in one? Yes. I think I threw away yours when we were moving. He had an all-in-one and I threw it away immediately. So the reason for that is because when you think about your pores, they're kind of this U shape. The best way to hydrate your skin is by using something that's low viscosity first and kind of building up from there. That is code for toner, which is more watery, liquidy, lightweight, something like this, or a liquid version, and then serum, which is slightly thicker, and cream. They are going to layer on top of each other. So yes, it is better to use them separately rather than an all-in-one. You want to wait like maybe a minute or two in between each product. So I think that covers it pretty much for today. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, did you have fun?
It was nerve-wracking, but it was good.
Don't be nervous, you did great. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate your support. Thank you for supporting myself, giving Jay a warm welcome, and then also for supporting Koreanet. We love you guys. We'll see you next time. Mwah.
Bye, guys.
You have to keep waving.